There's a very special event that is coming up next week. It's going to be happening in Hawthorne. And it's an event that is built around peace and justice. And in light of recent events that have been happening around our country and around our world, I could not think of a better time for a special event just like this one here. Joining me now on the Jersey Central Newsmaker hotline, she's got a lot of information about this event that is coming up on next week. Her name is Nusrat Qadir, and she is with a public relations team for a Muslim and Islam group here in New Jersey. It is called Muslims for Peace and Justice, and she's here with some information about the event that is coming up next week, and I want to thank her for taking some time to speak with us this morning. Good morning, Nusrat. It's Bert Barron. How are you?
I'm well. Good morning, Bert. Thank you for having me.
Good to speak to you, and I'm glad that this event is not only taking place at the time it's taking place, because I'm sure you're watching the events that are happening around our country and around our world, and it's time for everybody to just kind of take a breath and kind of take stock of what's around us and look at the good things that are happening there. And this event that is coming up next week in Hawthorne at the community center there. Talk about what are some things that are going to be discussed, which, by the way, I was extended an invitation, and I will absolutely be in attendance next week. But talk about what are some things that are going to be covered at this event next week.
Well, we look forward to having you here, Bert. And what this program is an opportunity for the Muslim community to speak with the local community in our area. And we're inviting everyone to come and have a conversation and get to know us. We believe that it's highly important to build bridges, to build dialogue, to have conversation, and begin an understanding with one another. And what we feel is important is for people to understand what is the true essence of Islam and what are its implications and meanings for people who are not necessarily well versed in understanding what Islam means. They may have just only associated it with negative actions, and we like to build community and diversity and conversation with people in our area and have them come and speak with us in regards to where does Muslims and Islam stand on loyalty to one's nation. What do Muslims believe? Where does peace and justice come into our faith? And actually have a dialogue on how building common goals for peace and justice as Americans are not just a religious issue, but an issue that all of us should want to have together. And how do we build those types of relationships together?
You're right. I think having a dialogue is a critical thing. And in the interest of full disclosure, I am almost embarrassed to say how little I know about other religions and other faiths around the world. And you would think it would be something that I would take upon myself to develop an understanding and to try to learn more about the world around me and, what are the beliefs of certain organizations. And I still find myself, even to this day, for example, asking about Jewish faith and Hebrew faith. And was this a happy holiday? Is this a sad holiday? What is this holiday for? What's that for? I should know all these things, Nusrat. I should know everything about the various faiths around my state and around my country and around the world. So I'm looking forward to turning this into a real learning experience for me. You had mentioned about loyalty to country and where, depending upon where you reside, how the loyalty to the country is. And just, getting over that first impression that unfortunately I think a lot of people have about your faith and your religion without getting to know you and getting to know how it works. And I think anytime you could put tolerance on the table and have a discussion about faith and religion and what people's really core beliefs are, I think it really moves a society and a civilization forward, and that's what I'm looking most forward to next week.
Yes, I think that is really key, and we can try to always learn about one another, and it's maybe not necessarily where you have to know everything about a person's faith, but it is good to ask. It's good to have questions, and these type of events allow for that. And as we see things unfold, unfortunately, in a negative direction with regards to radicalization and behavior that is not in accordance with Islam, it's most important that we have these types of dialogues for people to understand. And we've been having a True Islam campaign, and one of the 11 truths that we have in this campaign is that True Islam teaches that Muslims are not only obligated to obey their government where they reside, but we're to be grateful for the rights and freedoms that the governments provide. That's instructed in the Holy Quran to us, as well as was a practice of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and it's also part and parcel of a daily dialogue that members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community have in relationship with their spiritual leader, Mirza Masroor Ahmad, who is the Khalifa of Islam. He daily reminds us that we must be grateful to the governments that we live in, and we must be part of the community. We must be serving and active members engaged in society. So that's really key, and I think a lot of people may see us and view us as different simply by perhaps our names or how we look or how we are dressed, but not necessarily understanding that we have the same goals as our neighbors, and it's really important to see the common factors while respecting the differences.
Yeah, and it's a real problem when people just sort of paint with a broad brush. You know, they'll see one person of a particular faith or belief and right away assume, well, that's everybody. All the beliefs are all the same, and they're all just a bunch of bad people without really getting an understanding or getting a feel for what the core values and the core beliefs of various faiths are. So there's going to be a lot of great information that's shared. The event is next Tuesday night. It begins at 7 p.m. It's at the Community Center in Hawthorne on Wagaraw Road. Is this still open to the public? Are there still some opportunities for people to attend this and share their thoughts and listen to the discussion?
Yes, Bert, there are still seats available, and we are highly hoping that people will take advantage of this. They can give us a call at 973-937 TRUE, TRUE, 8783, and they can come on out between 7 and 8:30. We'll have refreshments, we'll have conversation, but more importantly, we're going to be allowing for people to just ask questions, to get to know us, to get to know the community center that's there, to present an understanding of the True Islam campaign that we're having across the nation. It's at trueislam.com. Is also very helpful for people who just want to kind of get an overview and an understanding of what we'll be presenting and what does it mean for Muslims who are trying to promote peace and justice in the United States as well as worldwide. We just want to have a real understanding of one another, and we believe that dialogue is the way to do that.
I agree, and I'm excited to not only attend this next week in Hawthorne, just to kind of open my eyes to some things that are happening right in front of me, but just for the opportunity to learn more about the various religions and faiths that are right next door, that are living here with us in New Jersey, and we're all going to coexist, and we all have to get along. And I think the more I learn about Islam and Muslim and faith and justice and things like that, the better I will be. For you, a question for you, Nusrat. The proper greeting for a woman of your faith, when I meet you next Tuesday, what is acceptable? Do I shake hands? Do we actually make a physical contact? Do I just politely nod? You tell me, what's the acceptable way to greet a Muslim woman?
Well, that is a great question, Bert. I have to say thank you so much.
I want to do it the right way. I don't want to be insulting when I meet you next week, right?
I think that's so sweet and kind of you. So basically for both men and women in Islam, there is modesty factors, very similar to Judaism and other faiths. And what we ask is at that time, it's just a gentle nod. There is no handshake per se. It's a gentle nod and a greeting to one another. And hello is always acceptable.
Hello works. That's a great icebreaker, right? Saying hello to a woman, right?
Oh, well, hello, or I have cake, and we can say, oh, you had me at cake, and we'll be there. But yes, we hello works just as fine. It's just the extension of the handshakes are something that we don't do for modesty factors.
Wow,
and
I'm so glad I asked.
Yes, thank you.
Wow.
And the women there may notice that if they're coming, the men may also be in the same. Some men choose not to shake hands out of respect to the woman's modesty.
Okay.
And in fact, it was always remember growing up here. Part of the etiquette in America was I was taught that when a woman extends her hand, this is the only time that someone should shake a woman's hand. So
okay.
I always remembered I'm the queen.
All right, let the woman make the first move. I like that. When the woman makes the first move, okay. All right.
Yes.
I will keep that in mind for next week. Nusrat, Qadir, thank you for your time this morning. Would you like to give that phone number and address one more time? I'd like to get a big turnout for this event if we could, and get some people really talking,
Absolutely. So we're the Ahmadiyya Muslim community of North Jersey, and we will be holding our event on the Tuesday, the 29th, in exactly 1 week at 7 p.m. And the community center is located at 131 Wagga Road in Hawthorne. And the phone number for anyone interested is 973-937-8783. The last digits can be spelled out as true. And even if you can't call, just drive by. Feel free to come on up. We'd love to have you. Just say that you're here for the event and come for refreshments, come for conversations, or come to just have a look. We're welcoming anyone who's willing to, wanting to meet others and getting to know us.
Terrific. I'm looking so forward to this event next week, Nusrat. I want to thank you for your time this morning, and great speaking with you on Jersey Central. And I'm so glad I asked for the proper way to greet a woman now, because I would have been so embarrassed if I would have said, "Hello, I'm Bert," and stuck my hand out. I would have been, "Oh, no, you can't do that here." But, thank you. You saved me a very embarrassing moment, so thank you.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to having you next week, and thanks for having us on the show. We
hope
your audience will be interested in meeting us.
All right, you bet. Thank you so much for your time this morning. All right, again, the event is coming up next Tuesday, August 29th. It begins at 7 p.m. At the Community Center. It's at 131 Wagga Road, Wagaraw Road, in Hawthorne. And again, the number to pre-register, 973-937-8783.